and I'll let you share your screen. Okay. And just in case I need it, I'll request remote control. But I'll let you drive for a while. Show me what's up.
Okay, we'll go to the final plat page, and
Ah,
there we are. In all its
very good.
ugly glory.
Yeah, it's this.
And I thought I could just click it or pick it and delete it, but it won't let me delete it.
Well, no, I don't know that you necessarily want to. It might be something that you need. Hold on a second. There we go. If we look at this, if we just select one thing, that's a block reference we see right up here in the properties.
Yeah,
And we see what name is, it's the PS stamp. So
Yeah.
somehow or another, that keeps redefining itself. So we need to
that's why I was just going to delete it and insert it again.
Yeah, well, the problem is when you do that, you leave in the definition. And unless you redefine it, you'll always keep getting this one back.
Okay.
So what we need to do, well, first of all, let's take a look, see what scale it is. It should be a scale of 1, which it is, I see right here. So that part's okay. So we need to reinsert it. And we'll do that by going to the draw menu. Choose insert. And instead of pulling it from this list, these are the ones that are already in the drawing and predefined, and that's the one that has the bad definition.
Yeah.
So we're going to choose, instead of that pull down, we're going to come up here above it and choose from file. And then we'll go out and we'll browse and we'll find that
I think I know where it is. Let me
Yeah.
look here.
CAD resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
There it is. Okay. Now, when it comes in, you're going to do just like that. You're going to tell it, you're going to show it on the screen, specify on the screen. And then you're going to, yeah, now right there. So when you say insert and it says you want to redefine it, we're going to say yes. Okay, and now just press escape. Escape, so that you go, oop, what happened there? That should have come back. Because once it gets redefined, we say yes. And now it's wanting an insertion point for the block. Now see, if we zoom in here, you're going to see that it's already there.
Yeah.
Now, normally you should be able to just press escape here and that the redefinition has already happened, but this
Yeah.
might be an IntelliCAD thing. So we may have to go ahead and click a spot just out here on the side. We'll just click right there. And then once that's in, we'll just select that instance of it and delete it.
Delete it?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
we inserted that one down here just off on the side and we didn't need it.
Okay.
So the one that was already there, we just redefined it. So that's what did that.
Now let me see if I can set the scale on this thing.
Okay.
So I select the viewport. View properties and I unlock the drawing.
All right.
And double click inside of the viewport.
No, no, you still need to set the scale of, well, I mean, if you don't know what scale it is, I would do that and then you can.
Yeah, I don't know what scale it is.
Okay, all right, then good. Then go
But
ahead.
click
and double-
inside there. And then I zoom extents.
Did you? I don't know that you made the double click. I'm not seeing it.
Is that it?
Yeah, well, see, yeah, that's, let's come back down here to the bottom on this screen and let's choose. Let me see. Over here where it says M, final plat,
Yeah.
I'm going to double click that to choose P for paper model instead of model space. Now double click inside it.
Okay, it isn't picked anymore. Is that right?
No, no, no. You do, what you do is you select it while you're in paper space. That is something that lives in paper space, that viewport. That you select it and set your scale and then you deselect it. You press escape and then double click inside it.
Yeah, but I don't know what the scale's is yet.
Well, I know, but if you go ahead and select it, did the unlock stay? If you select it, look at the properties. Make sure at the bottom it says that it's unlocked. Or display lock.
Yeah.
No, okay. So now press escape so it's not selected. Now double click inside it. There you go. Now you can zoom extends.
Okay, now I can drag it around.
Correct. You can drag it, you can zoom in and out, resize it, do whatever you like. You could even, you could put a rotation on it if you needed to, like a twist screen.
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be okay the way it is. I need to make it
Okay,
bigger than that.
yeah.
What do you think? That's probably big enough and give me enough room to do everything. Yeah. Well,
That's-
I can move this though, can I? If I want to make it
You
bigger
can,
than that.
yeah, late, but right now you got it sort of like about the size it looks like it's going to be. And then once you do that, you're going to double click back outside of it. Now you're going to select it again, select the viewport. And then look over on the side down on those properties and see what scale that got close to. Right there, that custom scale
Yeah.
is 0.03. So that means that it's, what is that, like a 30 scale about?
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
So then I would go up into the standard scale now and look and see if there's that 30 scale that's already defined. There you go. Now it'll change slightly. Did you see how it just shifted a little bit?
Yeah.
But you were close. You weren't right on it. And
I
now,
still want the annotation scale at 1 to 100.
no, you want that to be 1 to 30 also.
It doesn't have it.
Don't have one, so we'll make one. So the I'll keep going up
There
there.
it is.
Yeah. All right. So there you saw that line style. You saw it change scale as well. Now let's
Yeah.
go ahead and lock the viewport so we don't mess it up, and then we'll reset the stuff that we need to reset. So where it says display locked, there you go. All right, so that's set in as 30.
Yeah,
Now, what that means is that any text or blocks or anything that are defined in the model that's within the viewport that are annotative will change their size. So because you have, like, say, annotative text will have two height values. There's one that's the real world height, and there's one that is the paper space height. And so if you set your text to be 8/100ths of an inch tall in paper space, its paper space height would be 0.08, and then you would see its real height would be whatever it is at 30 scale. What is that, 2.4 feet?
yeah,
So that's how that part works. Now, it looks like there's some blocks and point symbols, which are blocks, things like that, that are potentially set to the wrong scale, or
yeah. I'm
set-
sure it is.
yeah,
Go up to the settings,
yeah. So I would check that and make sure
drawing
that,
settings.
yep,
Yes, put that as 30.
correct. Yeah, and then that's all good. Now, I would leave see over on the right now where it says LT scale 0.3.
Yeah,
See, Carlson does that, but I would prefer you to go into that field on the right and set that to 1. That's the way you get the most flexibility out of AutoCAD line styles. That other one, that 0.3, that's meant for people that are using the Carlson line styles. You
okay.
can still use them both, but this way that should work. So now when you say okay, and then we do a regen, things will change size again. So if you do a regen all, and now looks like those circles
Didn't do anything.
no, but what if you select one of them?
Oh, I have to,
Yeah, you have to double click inside it. There you go. So now that is, well, it doesn't give us the scale. If we check, if I click on, say, this line here, see that scale says 8?
yeah,
That should be saying 1. So if I change, let me see if I can change this manually. You shouldn't have to even bother doing this. And then I got to do this one as well.
it went back. Oh, okay. Let's see what you're doing.
Okay, now change that scale and made it too small. I think it still should be. Let's see if it's one we're at 30. Oh, no, it should be 2.4. Sorry. Whoops. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah.
And where did that 2.4 number come from?
Because we're at 30 scale and you had yours wanting to be 8/100ths. So 3 times 8 is 24.
Okay,
All right, so there's now for that one, and then this one, this should be the attributes. There we we go. Now, so that's set that one correctly. So now you shouldn't have to worry about doing that normally when you set your points in the first time and you tell it, I want that to be, your 0.08. So you do a point and it sets everything up the way it's supposed to be. That's fine. So then when you change the scale from 100 to 30, then you have to go to your points and choose let's see, we want to do it from here. Yeah, resize point attributes. And we want to do it by let me see, if we did it by scale, the scaling multiplier would be 0.333. Is that right? Yeah. We'll say both. And we'll just pick it from the screen. And then we'll say, yeah, just pick them or draw a window around them, whatever. There you go. Now you hit enter. And there they go.
Okay, how come that isn't going in to the, how come it looks like it's off to the side? And
Well,
on that one too.
Yeah, it looks like it's, it looks like that's where the point actually is. If we select that again, if you'll see that center point loads up. Oops, no, that's not the right thing to select. I selected the line. If I select that, so you see where that arrowhead's pointing, it's right to the,
Yeah.
so that point actually, that's where that point is. Now, I don't know if this line got moved or if the point got moved. It looks to me like the line work got moved. So you see how that line, this outside line goes right through it.
Yeah.
So simple fix, if you take those, we're going to stretch these corners, to wherever it's going to go. And we're going to put them at the insertion point of that block. That would be the CAD snap.
Okay.
So we're going to make sure, I'm going to press escape here for a second. And I'm going to come down here to my object snaps, and I'm going to choose settings, and I'm going to turn on insertion. I'll turn off this intersection for the moment so we don't confuse things. Now I'm just going to do that until we get done with this. So I'll let you select that line. Now grab the grip with the left mouse click, and you can let it up. And now just move to the edge of the circle, to the outside edge of the circle. There. Now that's looking for an endpoint. There. Yeah. Oh, almost had it. Go back. Right. Oh, right. See how it's changing to say insertion. Go over a little to the left. Left. Right up near the top of it. Right there. See it? Right. Back to it. Right there. Click. Okay. Now this one down here looks to be okay. So does that one over there. So now grab this one up here and just click and point it to, say, the 4 o'clock position. There you go. You got it. You got it. Click and do the same thing on the other ones. That I would check them all. Okay. There, okay, you've got 2 points there. Apparently that's not closed. You went around the figure but didn't close it. So there were 2 vertices there. So grab the other one now that's still outside and move it there to, there you go, right there. Okay. I would double check that one underneath the incorporated word. Make sure that that's where, yep, looks good. And now, is this, do these lines diverge out here? You know,
Which-
right in here?
Yeah, this is a building.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Yep, so that should be all you need to do on that one.
So escape.
Yep. And you might want to take these, this one and the 2 out here and change their drawing order to the front if you want those circles to, you know, anything that the lines are showing through. There you go. And you can pre-select them, all of them if you want. So,
Okay, how do I do that?
well, just select one. And you can do several things. You can right click and choose select similar. Now, if you do that, it's going to select everything that is a block of that style, which might be what you want. So you see there's other blocks like those X's and such, and
Yeah.
it'll be okay for them to be in the front too. So you just now right click, draw order, front. There you go. All right.
Okay.
So now, and you've got some other points that are showing like this, this X up here.
I really don't want to show those X's.
Okay, so if I look at it, I see that it's on a layer called boundary. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can do several
But
things. You
I
can,
think we created a layer to,
yeah, like freeze points, something like
I
that.
don't remember what it was called. That might be it. Let me see if I can find it.
Either freeze points or points freeze or something. It's not freeze points. I don't see it there. Go on down to points. Points freeze right there. All right, press escape and it'll go away. The grips will go away.
Same
Well,
thing there.
That, go ahead, click. Is that a point? Yeah. I thought I didn't know if that was like a coordinate grid, but that's a point. So, okay. Of course, maybe it's supposed to be the point, the coordinate grid. Is it? No.
No, I
Okay.
haven't done coordinate grids yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Now there's another one there in the corner. I see the, yeah, that's that one. Okay, and then that one that says CL, if you just click it, that'll pick up wherever the rest of it is. Looks like the other ones might, the other attributes in there might be frozen or that got moved or something.
Well, I think it went with the point that I just froze, but it's not a point.
Yeah, it is. If you,
Okay, so I can freeze it then.
yeah, I mean, and the reason I say that is you look up there in the properties, it's got
Yeah.
2 block references and a point that make up that point. That's how you
Okay.
tell it's a Carlson point. Okay. All right. Press escape if you don't need that anymore. And then any others you don't want to show. Now I see that there's a bunch of little points in the middle of your property.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to connect those. Those were all sidewalks and things that go with this building.
Are they,
So
are they,
I'll need them, but haven't figured it out yet, how they connect.
oh, okay. All right, so now let's work on the line style, line type, or line scale.
Wait a minute, let me get rid of
Oh,
this.
you got a, yeah, you got
Other
it.
one here.
Yeah. Well, let's press escape, Mike. You've got two things. Okay, now select it. Oh, it's getting two things together, so they're both points, so that's fine.
Yeah, there are two. Well, I'm not sure what that is actually, but I don't need it. I know that.
Yeah. All right, now press escape.
Oh, one was that text, I guess. And there's this thing.
Uh,
Oh, that's the actual.
see something. You see your UCS icon?
Yeah.
So it's got north pointing up and east pointing to the right with X and Y. There should be a square right there, I think.
Right. Yeah, there should be.
And so it's like there's a custom UCS that has been set. So I'm going to type the UCS command. And I'm going to choose world. And apparently in paper space, and when you're inside there, apparently it doesn't draw them there. So that's all right.
Let me click outside of here for a second.
Okay. Well, now,
Oh, it disappeared altogether. Okay.
right, because each viewport can have its own rotation. So, oops. So see if you're, if you, I see a couple more points up here, Mike.
Yeah. Yep.
So go get those. Now you can select both, just drag a crossing window or whatever. There you go, like that. And now it's set that. So maybe in paper space, that icon, instead of putting the square on it, maybe it turns the arrowheads off if you rotate it. I don't know. It's got some kind of different view to it. So, all right, there you go. Now, let's look at that line. That's, unless that's the scale you want that line to be. I don't know if.
Which line are we talking about?
The one at the bottom that looks like a bunch of less than signs. Yeah.
That's the railroad.
Oh,
That's the line type.
a railroad.
Yeah.
Is
You
that,
want to see what it looks like? I found it in there.
I mean, I see it. And I see that it said that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, line type is railroad.
yeah.
Is there something better?
Well, I've always I've always seen railroads where the cross ties go perpendicular across. They don't look like arrowheads.
Yeah, I would prefer that if there's something in there like that.
Oh yeah, there is. There's just something wrong with that definition of the railroad. So let's take a look at that. So if I select that, first of all, I want to see it's line type scale 1. That's good. All right, so there is a line style called railroad. And apparently it is set to draw like that. I don't know where that came from. But let's see if we can't figure it out. So if I select this and I change its line type, it says by layer. If I change that to B, I'm going to go down here and find a discrete line type. piece. There's railroad. Now that should have no change. That'll just come right back there because that, but if I change it to be, I want to make sure that it's changing. Let's choose the forest line. There we go. So see, now that's supposed to be a forest line.
Yeah,
It's goofy. It's got this letter or number or whatever that is. So it looks like the shape file is sort of mismatched on whatever defined the railroad. So we're going to use one of the Carlson line types and see what we can do with that. So I'm going to go up here to annotate, and I'm going to choose line types, and I'm going to change the polyline line type. And I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to find,
there's railroad.
there's railroad, but let me see where, what it looks like here. PZ rock, what, see the railroad like that?
Yeah,
So if I do that, and let's leave these default spacings and stuff.
yeah, that's a forest line.
All right, so now that was, oh, did I choose? Yeah. I can get it from here. Man, this thing is just lagging. I can't even get it to move. Are you, there we go. Let's see. All right, so there says that. And let me see what this will do. There we go. See, that's how that line style, the one that Carlson uses, the 30 instead of the 1.
Okay,
So that's how that gets created. Now, why are your line styles, line types messed up like that? That's the one we just used. And then there's the one you had. And this appearance doesn't show up. Now that's, it's not using the actual definition of the line type. This is just a little substitute. So that doesn't really help us much. I'm going to try to reload. Oh, I'm going to do that. Let me go back up to by layer. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to try to reload that line style. So I'm going to say new. And I'm going to say, I guess I'll say new here again, even though it's already defined. I think I say railroad. Call it that for a minute. And there's the IntelliCAD definitions. We'll call that railroad. Single line. Oh, Oh, no, wait a minute. This is not what I want to do. Sorry about that. Forget all that. All right, so I'm going to browse up here to, instead of saying new, which was, it was trying to get me to define it. I don't want to do that. So I chose this new. I chose that file that it originally came from. So here's one called tracks.
Mhm.
So if I load that, now you should see down here under the T's, you got tracks. So that'll look like that. If I all right, so let me go back here, route to layers. Oops. So if I set that to tracks, now here if I say load, see, there's no railroad definition in this file. I don't know where you got that from. Did you insert another drawing or anything in this thing in its past, maybe?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. Well, so there's tracks. We've got this railroad. See, that exists in the drawing, but it's not in that file. Let me take a look at another file. There's that. If I look in yeah, same thing. All right. Well, that was coming from somewhere. Not sure where. All right, we'll set that to that. Now, remember, we changed this line here to have a specific discrete line type and scale. So if
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everything on my railroad layer shows up with that, I'm going to put this back to by layer. But remember, you see that right there? That's one of those cross pieces because it has this line type scale of 30. So if
Yeah.
I put that back down to 1, that's what that looks like. Now that might be a little too big to represent the rail. So we might want to change that down to 0.5. And this is just individually for this line, that when we change those in the properties.
Mhm.
But if you type LT scale for line type scale, that's your global line type scale, and that will change it for every line. So we don't want that to be the case. So that looks about proper. If we could make it a little smaller even, but then the smaller you go, which shortens the cross ties, which is nice. You see what happens is they also get closer together. So you see,
Yeah. Right.
it's up to you as to how you want that to look. That's actually not too bad. That's 0.3. Let's maybe bump it up. 35, there we go. All right, so that should be good. Now, we gotta make sure we get that in the legend too. All right, so now, like I said, the line style for that line is back to be, or the line type is back to being by layer,
Okay,
right? So that's what we want. So somehow or another, that railroad line style is somehow in the drawing template or in this file that you started with. And we don't have the right shape file associated with it that defines those cross ties. Same as that, what was that, forested line or whatever, they had those goofy letters.
yeah,
Okay, so it's looking for a different shape file as a resource to be able to load up, because line styles are made up of pieces of solid line and gaps and either blocks or characters, like an X for a fence or a W for a water line, or you could have an alphabet that's defined by symbols instead of letters. So, but that's how it defines those line types. It is pieces of line and gaps optionally, and then the blocks. So when you create a line style, you can make your own. And when you do that, you have to have those blocks defined in the drawing, or that particular font that you want to use has to be a text style that is defined with the same font. So there's a lot of dependencies that go along with that. So not sure where that came from. I'm going to guess it came from the original drawing template that we had. And maybe that came from a file that somebody borrowed from wherever they worked at the last company. You know, who knows where it came from. So, but anytime you see a file that's like that, that has a line style that doesn't look right, you either have to find those original shape files that you probably won't have, or you have to change it to a style that is proper. Okay. I've had jobs where I brought them in, and what should be simple fence lines, they have these giant question marks on the line instead of little X's. So you don't know where they came from. Somebody else could have done it on a previous version of the file, or you could have inserted somebody's drawing into your drawing and got the definition that way. So anyway, that's how that goes. All right. So now I would suggest that you take, we're going to double click outside of this here. I'm going to come over to here, and I'm going to take our general notes and that little line between them, and I'm going to move them a little closer over here. And then I'm going to do this. I don't know, some of that text is in paper space, so I'll get this, but it's basically the viewport that I want to move a little bit. I want to get it off of that legend. In fact, I'll bring it up a little bit. And you could then, if you needed to now, whoop, what's going on? All right, so if you then needed to, you can, without changing the scale over here on the side, we just select the viewport and we can make it a little bigger if we need a little more room. See, we don't have to unlock it and pan and zoom. We just do what we need to do. Now I see if by doing that, I've managed to get a point up here. See what that is. So let me see what point number that is. If I double click it, that's point number 38 building 3.
Yeah, we can freeze it.
All right. I'll let you drive. Okay. Now, I don't know, were you wanting to, you're wanting to show those buildings a little bit, right? So they're okay?
Well, I don't know that I need to show this building. This building's not on my property and it's encroaching a little bit into the street. I don't know if I want to wave that in everybody's face.
Right, okay. So you could either, I mean, you could put those lines that represent the buildings on that same points freeze layer if you want, or you
Yeah,
can,
why don't I do that?
yeah, or
I'll-
you, yeah,
Improvements.
there you go.
Got to do two at the same time?
Sure may. Yep. Okay. Now, are these, are those actual points? Yeah, okay. They're just,
Yeah, I have to go out and look at them in the field and figure out how it all connects up.
right.
Uh,
I just wondered, you've got a, see, that's on a layer called improvements, okay? And does it have, let's see something here, point number. No, they're on. Did you draw those points, locate those points with, without using point numbers or something to show?
No, I never have point numbers on this. The point numbers show up on the model. Show up on the model.
Yeah, so they're over here in the model space, but um, so how do we have that turned off over here? Why aren't we seeing them here is what I'm wondering.
Never do. You did
Oh,
something early on.
Wait, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm in the, all right, I'm in the viewport. Oh, I know why I'm, gosh, see, this is why you can never let your guard down. So I was looking at probably the point number layer and I looked right here. I said, no, it's not, but it's over here, right there. See, that's where it's turned off in the current viewport. See, I forgot that I'm working in a viewport instead of in the model space. So that makes perfect sense. Okay, good. All right, so you can take care of those and use them as you need. Is this little square thing something that's, make sure that's not a stray?
It's a concrete slab.
Okay. That should be fine. Couple of things to remember to do. Looks like we're a little too far up the page, sticking off the paper a little bit. I'm going to bring that back down. About like that. There we go. So your north arrow is not hanging over the edge. And all right, so looking good so far. Make sure you save. thought about you earlier today. I was coming back from singing at a funeral, and so I was going to grab some lunch. And since it was a surveying day, I went and got 2 hot dogs down at Dairy Queen. So
Not a healthy lunch.
no, but they tell me that's the required food for surveyors. Yeah, the guy I used to work with, you may have, did you ever do any work for VDOT?
No.
Oh, okay. So you may have run into this guy. His name's Tom Conley. I worked with him in Blacksburg, but he moved to Richmond, I think, but he did a lot of work for VDOT. And
Does he have his own business?
well, he did before, when I knew him down in Giles County. I was still in college. He was at that time working for Norfolk Southern, or Norfolk and Western, I guess at the time, in their land office. But he still had a little ad in the yellow pages. So I called him to see if he needed any help. I was a student up at Virginia Tech studying surveying. He goes, well, yeah, maybe I'll go back. So he was doing little house location surveys for his brother-in-law, who was a builder. And then he went back to there, so he sort of, I sort of apprenticed under him and learned a whole lot. That's where I learned that you had to eat hot dogs if you're going to be there, or pinto beans with onions cut up in them. He said, but anyway, after I graduated, I went to Texas, and then I came back a while, and I came back to work for Ken Anderson Associates, and Tom was back working there. He had worked for him before years ago, before leaving to go to work for the railroad and having his own little practice on the side. But then after Anderson started growing really big, Tom got into GPS right when it was starting to become commonplace. And he went to Richmond and opened his own practice there. And I don't have any idea what he called it. His name was actually Elbert Thomas Conley, ETC. So it could have been like ETC Surveys. I don't have any idea. But anyway, because he got to be pretty big with, I think, Dewberry out that way. He did some work with them, with Timmons, but not as an employee. So I just wondered if you might have known. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Now, there's a couple of things I'm looking at right here as well on this thing. You see this line, I guess that's the heavy property line. You see, it doesn't have the same pattern.
Yeah, I do see that. I was going to ask you about that next. And
So,
I know you showed me how to do that a million times, and I could never remember it.
well, there's a couple of things that might be going on here. First of all, this line, which is the, let me get into the viewport. Okay, so this line is the adjoiner. You see, but it goes from here all the way up to here. So it occupies the same space, or I don't know, a joiner or right of way or something, whatever that one is. So the only way to keep that from doubling up is you have to break that line between these 2 points, so that only one line's on top of it.
Okay.
So you can do that by just doing a break command. And first of all, before we go off and do that, let's put your, remember down here where we changed your object snaps, and I put insertion to grab the points. I'm not going to need that anymore. I'm going to just use endpoint, and then anything else we might need, maybe center if we're going to use circles.
Intersection, maybe.
All right. So no, you just be careful though that you don't accidentally use those if you don't intend to. So
one I use a lot is perpendicular, but I always go up to this thing
Yeah.
yet.
Okay. Yeah, and I do the same thing. I use perpendicular quite a lot, but there's times when I don't want to use it, and that seems to find that snap quicker. Now there's another snap that is helpful. And it's not from CAD, it's from Carlson, and it's on this settings, and it's called this point object snap on and off. And so if I choose that, it's now on. So now if I'm doing something like, if I want to snap to exactly where that point is, I can just snap to any part of, part of the symbol or part of the numbers, any of that kind of stuff. Like if you look over here on model space, and if I'm doing something like drawing a line because my point snaps on, see, I don't have to worry about whether intersection or endpoint finds those corners of that symbol. If I want point number 9, if I have that point snap on, if I just touch that number 9, you see where it goes?
Yeah.
Same thing. And maybe this F on the IPF, so that'll go straight up to number 8, down here to number 36. Okay, so that's something that's useful, but it's from Carlson. And it's on the settings menu. Now you may or may not want or need to have it on, but in any case, what we want to do is to break up this line so it's not doubled underneath this line. So several ways to do that. It's on the edit menu, and there's a break pull right menu. You are almost there, one above where you started, right there. Now you can break it by, you can break it at intersection, you can break it, at selected point, all of those things, or you could just simply, issue the break command, whichever one you're most comfortable with. If we do at crossing polyline, and then we can use that, the property line to select it. So if we say that, now it says select the clip edge polyline. So we want the knife that we're going to use. There you go. So now that you've got that selected, select the polylines to be clipped, and you can select that one outside, and I think it will get rid of now. All right, so you said that. Okay, so now hit enter to finish. Okay, so now all it did was break it into pieces. So now you got to go to the middle and select the piece that you left behind and delete it. Well, I mean, sorry, escape, you're still, there you go. Now select that middle piece. Oops, wait a minute. Nope, you know what? Do the command again. I mean, I'll show you what happened. Excuse me. Great. By crossing poly. Okay, so we get the one we're going to use to cut with. Okay.
So
And
it
now
didn't include that one, did it?
no, no, not the one that we want to cut, but the one we want to cut with, the one we want to use to cut with. So that's what you've done, and you can only select one. So as soon as you select that, look at the prompt. It is now changed to select the polylines and lines that you want to clip. So you can select any number of things that might cross that polyline and it'll clip it. Okay, so if you choose that, and if you're through selecting, now hit enter. And now, before we go anywhere, look, it says specify the layer name for the inside segments. We don't want to do that. We're just going to say no. And now specify a name for the outside segments, no. And those are different layers. So what you could have done is, if you needed to have kept the inside segment, put it on a different layer and then freeze it, you could do that. But we don't need to keep it. We'll just select it. And now you see where the endpoints are. So now you can delete it. And now we've still got more than one line going between those 2 points. If you click there in that middle segment, click once and you'll see, no, not in the hole, but on the line style, on the line type. Go ahead and try to click on it and you'll see the little, all right, see there's a line, and that's the one that goes from here to up to here, down to here. Just let me just do that. Let me select that again. All right, so this goes, look at the grip. So that's the overall total. That's the one that you would want to keep perhaps.
Yeah.
But now down here's another one. If I select that one, I see that that's another instance of a line between those 2 points.
Okay, I think I can delete that.
That's correct. You may delete that one. There you go. Now it looks better. We still got, you know, maybe the same thing's happening out here. You
Well,
can,
there's a building line there.
well, okay. There's that one, which is the boundary. I'm going to do a crossing selection and then count how many it finds for me. There's 3 lines in there. So if I've got this one out here that I want to keep, I'm going to hold shift and click it so it deselects it. And I'm going to hold shift and click the building so it deselects that. And now I'm left with that line.
Okay, that can be deleted. It's a boundary line.
Deleted, yep. So go ahead and delete that. Oop, what happened there? Oh, I know what happened there. This line is still complete. It just goes, there's a gap right there. Okay.
Right.
Now, to fix that, remember, like we did with contour lines, that we want to flow through the corners. In the case of property lines, you might want it to start over again at the corners. And that is a property, and it's down at the bottom of the properties box, that's called line type generation. So keep it selected, scroll that down. And you see it's saying line type generation is yes, which means it perpetrates that or propagates that line type through the corners. But we want it to start over, so just change it to no. Okay, now we did that, but we've also got a situation where it's probably a little too large in scale. If you look at the 2 short lines, even the third, well, there's 4 short lines, you don't ever see the pattern because the line type scale for that line type is too big. So we need to, again, with it selected, go up to the properties and go to its line type scale and change that down to something smaller, like 0.5. And we just sort of do a little trial and error and see what it looks like. Okay, that doesn't look bad. Press escape and take a look at it. That looks pretty good to me, Mike.
How about this line?
Well, that one is
It's too short.
too short. Yeah, so select it, maybe try 0.4 and see if that gets enough to get it in there. Maybe not quite yet, maybe, yeah. But if you take it down to like 0.3.
Oh, it changed back to, oh no, it didn't. Okay.
Yeah, so if you change it back to like 0.3, or if you take it down small enough to make that show up, you will likely make the pattern too tight. So you might just need to leave that solid.
Okay.
Now the other thing is, let's see what line style that happens to be. Here's another option. That is, I'm sure it's a line type is by layer, and it's on a layer called boundary. So you look at boundary. Boundary right here. It's using a line called phantom. And if I go over here and I make sure in this viewport It's got the same one, that's true. So I can change that here if I want, either place. See, Phantom, and then there's Phantom 2, which is probably twice the size. Phantom 2. There's a long and two short, long, short. See, these are all different ones that have been used. You could potentially have a line type, you don't, but you could have a line style that has, you know, the PL symbol embedded in it as a property line. You know, so we're just going to sort of find out what's going to suit us the best. That Phantom looks good. We'll try Phantom 2 a minute and see, because if we use Phantom 2, there's Phantom 2. It stays Phantom in the model space, but Phantom 2 here. And I'm going to change its line type scale back to 1. Okay. So it is on boundary. Line type is by layer. Line type scale is 1. Boundary is defined as Phantom or Phantom 2. I didn't see any difference between Phantom and Phantom 2. See, one of those, I was hoping.
There, that's not bad. Oh, no, it still didn't get it.
Well, except, see, I'm still up at 1, so I may be able to turn that down. If I make that, like, say, 0.75. May not even need to make it that far. Maybe. Let's try 0.8. No, 0.8 is too much. So 0.77. Nope. 0.75 it is. All right, so 0.75. So you see the definition of Phantom versus Phantom 2, I was hoping that the length of that one solid piece here apparently was really long, and then it ended with a really long, and then started over with a long and ended with a long. So it has to try to get the style fit between those 2 points. So we can either do this, or we could do something like this. And let's even say maybe if it were even larger, but then you'd have to live with these short pieces being solid. So your call on that as to what makes it look the best.
I think 0.75 looks pretty good.
Okay. So again, don't forget to save periodically.
Let me ask you, let me tell you something so you know. This building is an old industrial building in downtown Charlestown.
Okay.
Big old brick monstrosity, and a young couple bought it, and I don't know what they plan to do with it, but they did tell me when they hired me to do the survey that they have engaged an architect, and he's going to want a copy of my digital drawing, which
Okay.
I assume means a DWG.
Yep.
So when I give him the DWG, do I also give him the points file, the coordinate file?
You can, but I guarantee you he won't know what to do with it. So I would say no, just do him like you got it.
Okay.
Now, you notice that adjoiner line that we broke?
Yeah.
Here's what happens. Notice that it is now sitting on top of the points. Okay, it's not hidden by the circle.
Yeah,
Because what happened was you modified an existing line. And basically, you created 3 replacement segments. So those are newer than the points. So
okay,
that's
let me
why,
point this out to you first. This is going to be a solid, by the time I get done this is going to be a solid.
okay,
uh,
yeah,
I mean, there's a possibility here that I'm not going to be able to set some of these corners.
uh,
Like these might fall in the sidewalk.
right.
So,
Yeah,
so I don't know what they're going to be yet. I'm assuming that I'm hoping that they're going to be rebars and will be solid black. If there's something else, I'll have to change the symbol.
yeah, I mean, you know, if it's like a chiseled X or anything like that, it's, you know, whatever it turns out to be. And you can do that just by double clicking it. And there you go. You know, you can double click the point and change the symbol. You know how to do all that.
Right, right.
But I was just explaining to you why that line now is sticking over top of the point, whereas, you know, we put the points in the front earlier, but the mechanism behind that activity is the fact that you've actually created 3 new lines and deleted the old one by that break command, and therefore they are newer than the points, and so they're closer to you in time, and so they sit on top. So you have to sort of keep your eye on those things and go back and readjust them. It's not that something's changing the points and shouldn't be, it's that you know, you drew three new line segments on top of the existing points. Okay. Now, that building sort of being it's going to wind up sort of being the point of the survey. I know there's more to it than that. There's the property, but it's for that building. So there's a couple of things you can do with that building to make it stand out. You could, well, first of all, you can leave it like it is because it's, you know, it's interweaving along a property line, which is a different style. And it looks like maybe it was it gray or just thin. It's just thinner. So, you know, that's one thing. And that may be perfectly fine in what you want to do, because it, you know, you're the land surveyor, you're not drawing a building or anything necessarily.
Right. I'm just going to label it as
Right.
a brick building. It's probably been there for at least 100 years, maybe more.
Yeah. So that's one thing that you could do, is just leave it like it is. Now, when you get a lot of things that are where they get confusing, like you can't tell between adjoint or lot lines or different things, I like to sometimes put a light gray hatching behind it, you know, a solid fill. That's another way you can do it. Another one you can do is you can, you've seen those building lines. And I'll show you real quick what I mean, and you can choose to keep it or not. But I'm going to just do a simple offset to the inside here. I'm going to say through, and I'm just going to take this building and I'm going to offset it just into the inside like this. Okay. I'm going to take this and delete that. I wanted to, this is actually should be connected to that other.
Yeah.
So I'm going to join nearest first. Okay, so now I'm going to offset. I think I'm going to offset. Yeah, there we go. So through, and I'll just go here and just eyeball it down to like here. Now, I'm going to select these 2 objects for the moment, And I'm going to isolate them. And that you can do on the view menu. And I'm not going to isolate the layer. I'm going to isolate oh, I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Show hide by selection. You see these icons?
Yeah,
They're also up here on the toolbar at the top here that we have open. So I'm going to say hide by selection or isolate by selection. So that's what I'm going to do is isolate by selection. And it says select the things you want to isolate. So I'm going to isolate these two things right here. Okay. So that basically freezes everything else in the drawing, no matter what layer it's on, until I unisolate them with this button that says show all. So I'm going to use this inner line as a boundary, and I'm going to do a hatch. If I can. Did that pop up on another monitor maybe?
no,
There it is. All right, so I want this ANSI 31 hatch. That'll be fine. And I'll keep this color 254. And I don't know what scale I'm going to want to use. Maybe I'm going to try a 2. We'll adjust that. And what I'm going to do is I'll put that, I'll send it to the back. I'm not going to have it associative. I'll make it separate later if I ever need to change that. But now I'm going to pick an internal point, and I'm just going to pick a point in there, and it looks like that's way too, well, no, I don't know yet. So that's where it's going to be. I'll hit enter to preview it. And well, let's see if I preview. Why is it? Oh, it looks like that is. So I'm going to double click. It looks like the scale is way off. Let me try 30. Oh, there we go. Now you can see those lines, but that's too big. It's actually a little too light. And I might want to change that angle up a little bit. Give it about a 20 to match the building. I'll set its color a little darker. That was 254. Let's make it like 252. And let's see, what else might we want to do? We will, you can change its transparency, all kinds of different stuff. But if we, let's see what this is going to look like at this scale and that size. I like the angle. The scale's still just a bit large. I'm going to turn that down to 20. Even that might still be too large. Let's make that 10. There we go. And so then now I'll take this inner line that I used as the boundary. I'll just delete it, and then I'll show all. And so now your building has those hatches in like a building line.
okay, yeah,
So that's a technique. You don't have to do that. You can just select that and delete it, because again, your job is to define the property, not the building. So it's up to you as to whether it makes it clearer or if it's just gilding the lily.
well, it might, let's leave it like that for the time being.
All right. Yeah, and you can decide if it's too much and gets in the way of stuff, you can turn it off.
Okay,
All right. So What next? How are your line types for your, are these right of way lines or,
They're, yeah, they're right of way lines.
but do you need to show them as a different line, you know, whatever you need to do to change your line style, you can play with as you need.
Well, is there a line style for a road right of way?
Well, sometimes you'll see them as a line with an RW in it, like a water line has a W. Or sometimes they're just drawn and then labeled.
Yeah, that's how I've done it on my other drawings. I think I've just shown it. Let's look at that other drawing just for fun. Let me look at that.
Right. Double click outside of your viewport just to get back in paper space.
Okay, I was going up to the start page to open another drawing.
Well, okay, well then save this one. I just want to make sure that you.
Okay, let me get up there and save it.
I'm not doing anything, so it's all you. There you
go. Okay, saved.
I'll press escape. There you go. Now.
Catro. Let's see what we did. Okay, well here's one that we did. I don't know what we.
Well, go to the paper space. Let's see what it looks like there. There you go. Yeah, you just get the other side of it is just a solid line. That's fine. Because you've got it labeled and it's evident as to what the intent is. Same thing back on Venice Way.
Yeah, I just called it highway right of way. I don't remember what line type I used.
Well, now, but look at Venice Way on the west.
Yes.
It has the same as the property lines, which.
Right. I wasn't consistent.
Right. So you could either make Martinsburg Pike the same, or you could change Venice Way to match the other.
I think I would change Venice Way to match the other. So I do that with this paintbrush thing, right?
Very good. Yes. There you go. And now you see there's no, you don't really have to put that in the legend because you have it labeled. It
right.
says it's Venice Way, and
right.
it's evident what that is. So.
Okay, so I'm finished with that drawing.
Make sure to save it if you want
to. I did.
Oh, okay.
So should I make this a little darker maybe? Because it's right of way line.
Well, select it and let's see what layer it's on. It looks like it's on the joiners.
It is on a joiners.
All right, so you might want to change that. Do you have a layer that's called right of way, or no, we've got boundary, but I don't see one, but you could make a layer.
You want to do that, make a layer called right of way.
There you go. All right, and now you could leave it as white and continuous, and then I would maybe under the line weight, I would change that from default. I would give it to like 0.25 or 0.3 something. There you go. All right, and then close that off and then put those, select those lines, that one, the two off to the side, and the one down by the railroad, if that's a right of way down there. And
here too.
Oh, and that one too, yep. And then I would change that to right of way. All right. Now, if you need to extend Yeah, see if that right-of-way line goes all the way up across.
Yeah,
up that
it
way?
does. Yeah,
But what I would not do is I wouldn't double up on the property line. I would just start on that one corner and go up if they're supposed to be coincident. So I would just, yeah, you can do that. There you go. Yep. There you go.
now I really probably ought to put, or should I put the other side of the right of way over here?
Yeah, I think I might. I would take one of those that you drew, assuming that those are all collinear. And
I
just
think they are.
select one and offset it.
I'll go offset to edit offset,
Yeah, that would work. And just
standard offset.
correct. And then select one of those lines. There you go. First of
Oh,
all,
I
no.
need to get it the distance.
Yeah, there you go. Now select that one. And now show it which side.
What happened? Maybe it's off the paper.
It could be. Go real quick over, go ahead and hit enter and then go real quick to model space and see if it's over there. And if it is, we'll just open up the viewport a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so
There it
while you're there with it, go ahead and select that line. Well, yeah, you can either do it with a grip edit, but you run the risk of changing the orientation. Go up to
I need to change this.
yes, correct. Okay. Now, take that other line or go up to the polyline toolbar and which is the top row, the farther, yeah, right there. Now come to the first icon on that toolbar. That right there. See, it says extend by distance.
Yeah.
So click that. Go down and click the end that you want to extend. There you go. Now you see it's an arrowhead.
Yeah.
And you can either enter or pick a distance to draw. So if you can just draw that, yeah, just up there. Now what it's going to do, even if you're off angle, it will project it at the angle that it originally is. So that's fine.
Excellent.
And then hit enter to finish the command. And now we go back to the paper space. And there you can see it showing up there a little bit. So
Yeah.
you could, let's see, let's double, oh, every time I do that. All right, so now if we select this and let's just stretch it up a little. I don't want to get into the general notes. I think that should be sufficient right like that.
Okay.
And do we need to extend it on this way as well?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so use that same command and then just click a little distance for it.
I have to pick the line first.
No.
Okay.
Pick the tool first. There you go. Most Carlson commands make you pick the command first, and I don't know exactly why that is. And so now you're just going to click somewhere about, yeah, just like in there. And then hit enter to finish. And wow, that was interesting.
What did that do?
It panned your drawing a little bit. That should not have happened. But So what we'll do is we're just going to select the viewport. I'm going to unlock it down here, which is same as going to your properties. Now I'm going to double click in it and I'm just going to pan this back to where it's. How far down here do we need to go?
Don't need to go down that far.
So we'll get that stuff off the screen like that. Should be good, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to select it and lock it back. What happened?
Where'd the lock go?
Disappeared on me. Ah. Hang on a second. That was viewport. Well, I don't see it.
It was there. I saw it.
Yeah.
What's the lock over in the toolbar thing say? Over here.
In the properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whether we made it. That's another way you can do it, of course. So it is locked. That's very strange. I wonder. See, there should be a thing says here, viewport lock. Let me toggle between this. That's very strange, Mike. Also, your coordinates. See, now the coordinates got bigger. Well, that's, oh, now it's back. See it?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's save it real quick.
There you go. I'll let you have it. Yeah, sometimes playing around with these things, now it's gone again. Zoom out. No, it's just gone again. Yeah, probably that's indication that it's getting time to maybe restart, but it seems to be okay. We'll worry about that another day. And then you can put your north arrow maybe up to up further into the corner, or maybe over on the left, however you want to do it. Just draw a crossing around those things. And no, you'll have to do a move command. There you go. Yeah, looks good. There you go. Now that gives you plenty of room to get your right of way in there. Now, what about the railroad? How wide is that right of way?
It varies.
Okay.
Um, and that's an interesting thing. See this strip of land here?
Uh-huh.
That appears to be, it was once reserved when these two lots were created, it was reserved for railroad siding
Okay.
to be shared with this property, and it never got conveyed to anybody that I can tell.
Huh.
And I'm going to suggest to my clients that they may want to talk to an attorney about how to get that land.
Uh-huh.
Or if I'm going to suggest it isn't part of my scope to research and find out what happened to that piece of land. I can do it if they want me to, or they can hire
Yeah.
an attorney and get him to run the title on it to see if it was ever conveyed. The railroad map doesn't show it as part of the railroad, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't conveyed to the railroad. Railroad map just may be wrong.
Yeah.
But if I were owning that property, I would want that building. I would want to acquire that property.
Yeah, me as well. Okay, yeah, well, that's probably the best approach there, since having the tools to fix something and not being paid to fix it are two different things. So,
Right. Right.
but yeah, but let them know they can go to the attorney and see what he thinks. In Texas, there's sometimes slivers and overlaps and stuff like that, as there are everywhere. But in Texas, by law, statewide, any unclaimed land like that, even if it's just little slivers, all revert to the ownership of the local school district. So the school district owns all these little, 1.5 inch wide slivers of land all over the place down there.
So if you want them, you have to buy it from the school district.
Correct.
Way of generating money for the schools.
Exactly right.
Well, the reason I'm not too worried, I mean, the clients are going to be very upset when they see this, and I know that, and I'm sorry for it, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not too worried about it because this building is at least 100 years old.
Right.
So there's no way that anybody is going to successfully eject them.
Yeah.
From that piece of property that the building's on.
You could almost call that a case of adverse possession, except you're missing the adverse part of that, I guess. I mean,
it's pretty adverse. There's a building on it.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, don't you have to have you have to have knowledge that you are encroaching, and so I think if it's an accidental encroachment, it doesn't pass the test for adverse possession, or how's that work?
It depends. That's an interesting point. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't.
No, okay.
Which is why they don't let surveyors decide whether something something has been adversely possessed or not.
Right, and the courts have to do it, yeah.
Only a court can do that. That would be up to the lawyers to make their respective arguments. And I don't know who would argue for this side. I mean, the only entity that I could see that it would have any other possible interest would be the railroad, and I don't see what their interest would be in this little piece.
Correct. Yeah, they may well just, hopefully in an ideal world, they would just, write a quick claim and then let them have it. But
yeah, that's what I would do, is go to the railroad company, which is not easy to do. I mean, they're a huge company, and God knows where you would end up trying to get them to understand what you're talking about.
right. Is that CSX, or who is that?
It was B&O, and now it's Chessie, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't think B&O, I'm not sure B&O even exists anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. We've got a lot of their lines around here, but I don't know who owns it now, though.
The other thing that they could do is file suit to quiet title. And and let whoever, but that's not my problem to solve.
Correct.
I'll solve it if they want, I'll try to help them solve it if they want me to. Um,
Now, are they,
Okay, another thing, how about let's do the location map?
okay,
And let me save this. I don't remember when the last time was that I saved it. I think it wasn't very long ago, but I don't like to take a chance.
for her, it's what we say, save often.
Yeah.
Okay,
So let's go to flood map. Oh, so that's probably too close. Well, that's a nice clear picture though,
it is that.
but that's our property right there.
All right. So,
I guess I'm going in too close. I
well,
guess I really can't.
can you go in close like that and then just decide to turn off the base map?
Maybe.
Yeah, so now if we go up to the, yeah, there you go.
To show the street.
Yeah, but go ahead and try, yeah, there we go. Oh, that is CSX. Well, according to this, but,
Yeah, probably is CSX. Yeah.
all right, that's a trip to Florida. All right. So now the numbers, are those parcel number? No, what are those?
Well, I can turn the parcel numbers on. Let me see what that looks like.
Well, those will be the, yeah.
That'd be interesting to see if it's in a floodplain. I don't think it is.
No, I saw it off to the west there. It looked like the, if you zoom out a little bit, you'll see that big red splotch.
Yeah.
Now, see, there's another issue. You've got your parcel boundaries on,
Yeah.
and the buildings, of course, they're showing everything's out in the right of way, and
Right.
it's.
Well, should I turn the parcels off?
It might not be a bad thing because we're gonna, we would draw our own in there. Of course, the parcel numbers will go away at that point too.
Well, it's okay. Yeah, I'm going to show the parcel numbers on the survey itself. I don't need them on the location inset, I don't think.
All right, so now if we do it this way, we can, you turn your parcels back on for a minute. We're going to save two of them here. I'm going to show you why. Because we're going to save this one, put it out there so we can see about where they go. We'll draw in our parcels and then we'll save this exactly like it is, but without the parcel lines, and we'll use that one as the final. And then we'll tweak our parcel lines so that they don't show over the buildings. All right, so now we need to save that map.
Yeah, we always struggle to do this. We print it, don't we?
Yes,
Is that how we do it?
that's correct.
I'm gonna call this the job number.
Yeah, and you might want to put, dash with parcels. But we're going to save it twice. All right.
Didn't had it too far over.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the other. We can close that page off. And then there you go.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Except none of the street labels showed up.
Is map data not yet available? Huh.
This isn't going to make a very good location in set.
All right, let's try this. Let's see. Instead of doing this,
Going to try Google Earth again.
no, I'm going to just do a screen grab. Let's see. We need down here the snippet tool. And let's save that.
I think we're not showing enough area here.
All right.
This really isn't going to show any more than our plat as to where it's located.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we need to back out like maybe even out that far.
Okay. Now this is selected, so maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't like that little icon thing. Let me see. Oops, did I do that?
Yeah, when you click on the parcel,
Oh, okay.
it moves that thing.
Yeah.
It pops up.
Well, we know which is our parcel. We don't have to. All right, so set it to the scale you think should be showing.
Well, that probably shows enough.
All right, now go down there where it says type here to search and start typing snip. All right, so up there where it says snipping tool, go ahead and just click it. All right, and then let me look at this a second. We do new home, try improve features and snip like you snip and sketch. All right, if you try snip and sketch, let's try that. So you press the Windows logo key, Shift and S to snip what's on your screen without starting snip and scratch. All right, we're not going to do that. We're going to go up to where it says new at the top left and pull down that arrow next to it. Let me see what those say. Just try new.
New or now?
No, to the left of it where it says new, just do that. All right, so now you want to draw the shape that you want to include. So like if you want to grab part of North George Street and drag up, go to the left of North George a little bit so you can see the name of it. There you go. Now click and drag a window up and show as much as you think we should show in our location map.
Oh, what happened? Oh, there it is.
All right, so now up here's our property, okay? And so now here we've got things like this that we can use. And we could, well, that's sort of freehand. I don't want a freehand. Let me see. Let's undo that. Let's see if I can go click, click. Nope. Let's undo, undo. Let's see.
What's that thing? Oh, that's an eraser, isn't it?
That's a highlighter. That's a black. That's a pencil. That's a pen with different colors. That's an eraser. This is just way, we can annotate if we wanted to. I wish we were able to. Yeah, see, I don't want to freehand it. Anyway, we'll do something like that. We won't do it for this. I think I'll just undo that. Now, our property is going to be up here at the top. Is that okay?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it doesn't need to be centered because you don't, this locates it. That's what we're
Right.
looking.
Yep. Yep.
All right, so let's just save that.
Okay,
And
let me put it
put it in your project.
somewhere on the job. Where did I put the other thing?
Was it in Carlson?
Huh, maybe. No.
Well, it's
Oh, it
looking
must
for,
have been.
it's looking for PNG files right now. So
Okay. Let me just put it right here then.
okay. Now, what type do we? Let me see what. Okay.
Location inset.
Yeah, let me see what our types are. PNG. Okay, yeah, let's just stay with the PNG for now. Just
Okay.
call it, location with parcels or whatever you want to call it. All right, now there's that one. And so now if we, what is that boundary?
It's probably the boundary between Charlestown and Ranson would be my guess.
Do we need to worry about that? I don't guess.
No.
All right, so now let's do this. Oh, wait, here's something. There's your building footprints, of course. Huh. We don't need any of that stuff. No wetlands, I guess. Nope. All right, so let's turn off our building footprints. Our parcels are off. Let's turn these off. And now let's do that again. And we'll come down here and, whoops. I need to get rid of that. All right, now we'll try it. See, there was, how far up did we go last time?
I'd say about that far. That's close, I think.
Oh, no. Let's see. Is that our property right here, right?
So, yes, that's it.
Right in
Yes.
the center. Oh, okay. So North George Street, I think was, I think what we,
We can open it and look at it if you want.
seemed like this was down further. Yeah, let's take a look at it. I want to get close.
Wait a second, it popped up on the other screen.
All right. No, that was just up to the, where Bell and North Mildred meet and then out to include that. Okay. I'll leave that up there for, oops. Where am I?
Here, let me close this thing.
All right, let's, from there to Bell and North Mildred, okay. All right, so Bell and North Mildred, all right, so we snip. We knew, we come down here. There's Bell and North Mildred at the top and over about like so. And then we save that as,
Put it in the same place.
is that it? No, sorry. There you go, find it.
Oh, it's in
2021, yeah, sorry. And then I would just do say no parcels.
Uh,
And I would just say no parcels, like,
okay.
all right, now let's see what we can do with those. Let me try one last thing on this print. If it still says. No, that got the street names that time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right. So let's save this one. up here with location inset flood. Oh, meant to say no parcels. Oh, well. And we'll come back and say, we may have just been too close in, I think, is what happened. Let me see something. Is that? No, we don't want that. All right, so parcels. Now, what's going on here? This is the old one. Here we go now. Where are the parcels? Maybe we have to restart that. That's very odd. All right, let's toggle these. Let's maybe see, it says this was created back here at 7 minutes after. Maybe we just need to change our position just a little.
I think that's what happens. You need to change the position just a little.
It's still, see, it's still,
Well, you want to print the map instead of downloading it. If you're downloading it, you're downloading, printing it will give you a new,
oh, okay, I see.
see, there you go.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that will save location inset flood with parcels. So now we have PDFs and we have the others. All right, so I think we're good to go with that. All right, back here. So now all right, so that is a viewport, okay. So if we go over to here and let's take a look at their two different results and see what we got. If we come here, have this one already from the last time. I'm going to leave that there for just a minute. So we'll try that in a minute. I'm going to So I'll put it right here for a minute. I'm going to try 30 just on the off chance. No, that's not going to work. All right. So this we're going to align. So I'm going to edit. Select entities to align. So that. So the first point number will go from right up here in that corner. And that's going to be represented by that corner. And then the second point would be, let's get that corner and take it to that corner, and yes, scale. And then we're going to put that back. So that's close. Oh, I see. It was from that let me try that again. From there to there. Second source is none. There we go. All right. So now pretty good agreement, all things considered.
Yeah.
Now I want to hop over here for a minute. I know that's goofy in here, but I want to see something here a minute. Now, if we keep that the same size, it'll show our property up here. We don't get that other street down there very well. And all right, so we got Samuel, Bell, Mildred. Is that enough, or do we want to be big enough so that we can see is North George Street? See, we would have to,
We could get rid of that scale altogether. This is in the city of Charlestown. I don't think they require me to put a scale there.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, do we want to make this bigger so that all right, so there's North George. So if I just do like that, and then take this and like that. Oops. Oh, come on. There you go. All right, so this thing is not sitting right. Let's see here. There we go. Maybe, nope. Yeah, I think. Probably. Probably okay like that now. So let's find out what your viewport scale is close to 0.003, like 1 inch equals 3,000. Would you say we don't necessarily need to show it what the scale is?
Right.
All right, so let's just take that out. We'll leave it to scale that it is. Now, now I'm not going to leave this sitting on our side. I'm going to put it off to the side somewhere. And then I'm going to match it with the one without the parcel lines. And we're going to draw in our property lines. So let's see, I want to take this and unload it for the moment. And I want to no, let me see. I'm going to do it. Let's do this. Oh, where am I? All right, so I'm going to take our boundary. Oops. And this, and I'm going to copy that and put it off here to the side. And now I'll take this and just delete it. Now back to here, I'm going to take that viewport, leave that, well, actually I don't need to do anything, just leave it alone. And carefully not to change the scale by zooming, I'm just going to drag it into place. So now take our viewport, lock it back. And we have this. That we can give it just a continuous line. That part doesn't matter. We'll make it a little heavier. Oh. The transparency, none. Okay, there we go. Now that, would that be all right, do you think, like that? But I don't think the buildings are really showing that they're encroaching too much with this.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine.
All right, then that part's done. Save. And off we go. Now that we go back to where's the preview? Oh, here it is. So that's what the PNG looks like. The PDF would be what I'm doing here, Mike, is I'm going to just see if that's going to be any, see, I don't think that's any clearer being the PDF
Right,
than the PNG. So I think we're done.
okay, sounds good.
I mean, we're done with that part. So, all right. And we've saved. And of course, you've got all these other things here that you're gonna take care
Yeah,
of.
I can fix all that. Let's go ahead and label the streets.
All right.
Good. And I
Yep.
would do that by draw text.
Well, I would do this in model space so that you can, set it to the right size. And I would get on the right of way layer, maybe.
It is on the right of way layer.
Okay, yeah. Now go ahead and put your text. And I would do either standard or multi-line. Yeah, standard is just a single line. So now you would set the style. Of course, you can change the style later. We can take a look at it and see. You just leave it like it is now. It's fine. So just pick a starting point. And the height, now right now, 2.4 feet on the ground at 30 scale is going to be what? That's your 0.08. So you're going to want this to be a little bigger, like 0.125 times 3. So that would be what? 3.75. Okay. Hit enter. And the rotation. Oh, let me show you a trick. Let's press escape here. Go ahead and run the command again, just up arrow and hit enter. Now, for the starting point, pick the end point of that line, of the right of way line. There you go. Click. Height 3.75. Enter. Now the rotation, just go grab the other end point. There you go. Click. And now type your, oh, wait a minute. Crap. There we go. I keep. All right, let me see. All right, if I click here. Now the angle, I need to pick this one again. So here to here, there we go. Wait a minute, it says please enter a valid angle. It's not letting me pick the angle. Oh, well. I'll show you how to fix it. Go ahead and hit enter. Oh, now that just didn't make any sense. D-text. Pick there. 3.75. East. Now type the text. Two L's or one?
One. It's
Okay.
misspelled on the tax map.
I got it.
Let me put parenthetically 25 foot right of way.
There you go.
Nope, that's it.
Okay, and enter and then enter.
Oops.
Well, just now, well, you can go ahead and write all of them all together and we'll move them into place and rotate them. So what's the next one?
Mildred Street.
Okay.
Oops.
Hit enter. And do we need to put the railroad?
Yeah. Let's see, that was CSX.
Yeah, railway. There we go. Enter, and if you're done with labels, hit enter one last time after that one, and then you'll be done, and we'll move them around. Okay, so now let's scroll in there and we're going to set these angles, and I'll show you how to match them exactly.
Okay.
Is we need to take a look at, now these are polylines, and polylines don't show you the angle that they're setting in as, but lines do. So we're going to draw a line. So this one up here, the very top one, instead of polyline, it won't matter where we put it because we're going to erase it. And we're just going to go from here up to there. Okay. Hit enter, we finish, and I'm going to select it. And I'm going to move it up here out of the way so I remember to delete it. And we're going to draw another line. And that's going to, oops. Another line, and we'll go from here down to here. We'll select it. Okay, now, one more. Line. Was here, up to here. Enter, select it. Oops. Did the wrong one. There we go. Line from here up to here. And we select it. And we're going to just move it off to the side here a little bit. Now we have things that we can use. In fact, again, just to make sure that we notice them, we're going to make them yellow. So if we select this and look at its properties, we're going to come down here, we're going to see that it has an angle. So if I sit in there, now I can't change it, but I can right click copy. Okay. Now the text has a field called rotation right here. So that I can change. So I've got it highlighted. I right click and choose paste and hit enter. And then I can move it, however I want, and it's exactly on that angle.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you do the other two and clean up the lines.
Now, what did you click to create this text to begin with?
That was the draw text, single line.
You did just go draw text multi-line. I didn't know you could move the individual lines in a multi-line text.
It's not multi-line. That's when you chose it, you chose draw text standard.
Okay.
That's a single line. Multi-line would have been the whole thing as a paragraph.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So now I'll let you fix these other two. Now press escape so that you don't have it. Press escape. There you go. Now get your text. Grab the grip. There you go. gotta hit escape so you don't have the line selected also. There you go. Now get the text. Now delete your yellow lines and you're good to go.
Oh, I did the wrong thing.
It's all right. Now go back to paper space and you can see a little better what you're doing.
Let me save. Okay, then I can move. That's no problem.
Yeah, because those are in paper space already.
Right. Okay, well, let me annotate the bearings and distances then.
Okay. So
Should I
again,
do that in model space too?
yeah, I would do that in model space, and you could double click inside the viewport and do it. We could have done that for the other one as well, but sometimes I like to do it this way. Now, the first thing I would try, instead of doing these individually,
Yeah.
is let's just try and auto annotate, see what that does for us.
Let me make sure I've got all of these connected first. Yeah, okay. Now that's interesting. What happened to my line type here?
It's a matter of oh crap, every time I do that, I keep shrinking your window down on my screen. All right. There's a your line type scale, it should be 1. Your MS line type scale should be on. Your PS line type scale should also be on. So
Well, I really don't care, I guess, how it's showing on model, as long as it's showing the right way on final.
let's see, MSLT scale, it's on. Regen. Yeah, I don't know, Mike.
It's fine on that one. The heck with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all one thing. So we're going to go to annotate.
Yeah, try auto annotate and see what that does for us first. Okay. Now that's going to put, if you see the preview at the bottom, that's going to put the bearings on the top of the line and the distances underneath it. If you want them otherwise, you would change that. You change
Okay.
it up the top. Well, let's just go ahead and try this and see what it looks like. Say, okay, it may be that we're going to have to do these individually anyway. So now pick that property line and hit enter. Oh, press enter for no line table. What happened there? Let me see something. Auto annotate. Let's turn this to never. That was left over from the last time we ran it. Remember, we did that table.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so now let's try it. There we go. So when we look at that, it would look
Okay, now
like,
some of these I would like to reverse, like the ones here.
Yeah,
Can I just do that? Move them by hand?
absolutely. Like you could even put them on the same line if you want, put them both on the outside on those long lines if you'd like.
Well, I'd probably do that on this one because of the,
Yeah, now keep in mind, it's in model space, so you have to double click in it. Okay, now when you select it, you'll be able to grab it. Okay. Alrighty.
that's got a weird angle.
Well,
Good.
no, I think you're confused by the rubber band line is making it look that way. It's an illusion. Now grab the 6125 and move it off a little bit down and you'll see it should line up. There we go.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so yeah, you can freely move those around, like get that 3750 out on the outside if you wish. You'd have to.
Okay, well, I can finish all that up after I set the corners. I
Yeah.
should go ahead and put the area in there maybe.
Yeah, now here's one thing to keep in mind. Because we auto annotated that figure, okay? And if we have our settings set in Carlson configure general settings, if we had link labels with line work, if that were on when we did that, then if we had gone here later and moved this line around or stretched a corner out, these would redraw and recompute. So after you move these around like this, if you were to change that line a little bit, they would redraw back to their default position. So just be aware if you ever run into that, that's what's going on. Yours was not linked. So right now it's just text. It read the line, computed the text, put it in there, and it's just plain text sitting there. You can put them anywhere you want. Okay.
Okay. It's done some weird things here when we move those points around. It changed some of my distances.
Whoa, where?
This should be 61 feet even. This should be, well, that's right, 2850. No, it should be 2850, not 2860. And this should be 5700. 3750 is right. 145 is right.
Well, then something.
Oh, this bearing is supposed to be parallel to this bearing. This bearing is supposed to be parallel to this bearing.
All right, well, something has changed. Either the points were tweaked. Now we tweaked the property lines to go back to those points. Remember when we just gripped them and moved them?
Let's look at the model real quick.
Okay. Well, like here, let's take a look at this 0.209, because that was one of the corners we moved. See, it's pointing right. It's pointing right to it.
Yeah, well, that bearing and distance is right. The between 209 and 207. It's these that, let's see, this is right, 205 to 204. There's something wrong with 321.
All right, so if we look at 321, see, it's pointing right to there. So 321 looks like it got moved. Do you have a printout of your coordinates from before?
No.
Yeah, see, 321 is right where the symbol is. Do you have your points history turned on? Oh, no. I'm going to turn that on for you for later.
Well, I'll bet there's another point that's been computed. 321 might be the wrong point because you see these others are 200 numbers.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Question is which number would be the right one?
Okay.
Let me do some inversing here.
Well, let's do one thing first because we froze. That points freeze.
Yeah,
Let's thaw that and see if we see one that comes up. In fact, when we go back to freeze that layer again, let's just freeze it in the viewport. All right, so no, there was not one that showed up. There's 204, 205, 207, 209, but now you got a 300 series. So 321, 324, there should be a 200-ish somewhere. Now, here's a way that we can possibly find that without trying to guess our way to it. If we do our list points, and we're going to say all, and we're going to use the report formatter. And let's put these up to 3 for now, just so we can get double checked. Oh, elevation won't matter. All right, we'll say okay. Now I want point number, northing and easting. And I want to sort these. Let's put this in. You have Excel?
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to put this out in an Excel file. And I'm going to now sort these. If I can.
You want to see the commands at the top, you have to click this line here to
Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. So I want to look at data. And let's sort. All right. So where is, here we go. So now what was the one we were looking at?
321, I think.
Yeah, it was 321 and 324, I believe. So now we come down here and find 321. And so the nearest there's 205, but that's not all that close to it. 655 to 664. 021 to 953. Yeah, that's not that close.
Well, what we can do is just compute that point. I know what it's supposed to be.
All right.
You said 225. Let me do an inverse to 225 and see where that was. Was it 225 or 205?
No, it was no 205 is down here, but
Yeah,
It's 321. I didn't find anything nearby except
okay.
these are probably these little sidewalk points and such.
I don't know what happened, but I'm glad we caught it before I went out and set corners. Okay, this point is supposed to be 57.00 feet from this point parallel to this line.
Okay. So we want to take from 204. We want to create a point. See, we got 204, 205.
Let me see what the next, let me set the point to false. I don't want to end up with some crazy number. Okay, 214 is okay. And that's what I would want. The way I would do this, you can tell me if there's an easier way. I would go from 321 to 204 and then say traverse bearing code would be southwest.
Well, now instead of giving it the, although was that other line computed with that exact bearing? Like you could have said L for line and you could pick the line it's going to go parallel to.
Okay, I can still do that.
Okay. So now pick that line up there. There you go. All right.
And it wants to go reverse.
Yes. Now your
And
distance.
distance should be 57.00. Okay,
There we go.
so now then, do I break these two segments and then redraw them and then connect it?
No. We'll just, crap, sorry, hold on. We'll just do this. Like, instead of being at that point, let's see. I'm gonna select, whoops. I select that and go to, was it 214? And then what was 321 description wise? Does it have a description? No.
It was, yeah, no.
All right, so let's put 321 on points freeze for now. And let's go back and freeze that layer because I thought it. Yeah. All right, now we're going to want SPT4W. Okay. Now we're going to go back and redo the auto annotate in a minute. So what was our next one? This one down here. And do you know?
No, that one's right. All the rest of them are okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So now let's go back and auto annotate. So
Wait a minute. Let me look here again. 37 point. Yep, the rest of them are good. Annotate.
yeah. And auto annotate. Say okay. Hit the red, pick the red line. Hit enter. 57 flat, 88 flat, 61 and a quarter. Was that right?
Yep.
145, 88, 37, 50, 57, 28, 50. Yep, looks good. 64, 41 balls. Yep. Okay. So now you can,
Do this again.
yeah. And there, and remember, you could move the distances over too. They don't, you don't have to skew them off on one side, but just position where they, where they look good on the plat, and you're in good shape. Yeah, and be careful, make sure you don't snap to anything. So if you need to turn it off for the moment, you can do that too. Now, out there on Mildred Street, make sure you get your 3750. And you may want it left where it is and maybe just turn off that hatch. It's up to you.
Think there's room to fit it on the outside here.
I think so. Remember, you got to double click in it. No, well, just double
Should I
click.
do it here?
Yeah, you can double click in the viewport. There you go. Now just select your bearing and run it. You double clicked it. It's trying to edit it, so we don't want to change it. We'll just grab it and maybe move it out like so. Let's see if we can. There you go.
Yep, that looks good. Well, I need to do one more thing. We can do the area.
All right. And yeah, you might as well just stay right in here is fine. You're in model space. You've double clicked it. Now I'm not doing anything with the mouse. So there you go. Back to area layout. And you can simply do, well, you can't do area by closed polylines because that polyline is not closed. You could, however, select that property line and change its property to closed.
It isn't closed?
Nope. It started and stopped on the same point. But remember, we had that 2 points at the end that we had to move twice.
Okay, let me look at this.
Just select it and look at its properties. So you had it down there at the bottom.
No, huh? Okay.
Yes. See, there's a difference. It starts and stops on the same point, but it's not mathematically closed. So you just change the closed field from no to yes, and you should be able to do it.
We'll change the bearings and distances to make it closed.
No,
Should be
not,
closed.
yeah, no, I mean, it is geometrically closed. It's just not mathematically closed because we didn't, closing a closed polyline. If you start on one point, you put a bunch of points out and you end on some other point. When you say closed, it draws the closing segment. If you start a polyline on point, put a bunch of points in, and if you end that polyline on the same point you started on, it looks closed, but it's not. It still goes to an end point that's the same coordinate as the first point. When you
Okay.
close it, it actually removes that last coordinate or the last vertex and just starts it back at the front. There you go.
So I can do area by closed polyline now.
Mm-hmm. And you want to, what you want to make sure you say label area. There you go. And uncheck auto place so you can position it. Okay. Yeah, just exit that and then it will prompt you as to where to put it. All right, now, what we've done is,
Could I put it in square feet?
yeah, that's
instead
what
of
I'm going to say. What we did was we computed it, but we relied on the defaults. So I'm going to come up here and set the defaults to be what you want. So we're going to change the area defaults. And right now you see all that's there is acres.
Yeah,
So we want to also have square feet, which is going to be, if I can find it, here it is. Square feet, and we'll move that up. And let's edit that by double clicking the square feet, and we're going to change the style to standard. And we'll keep it at a tenth, so it's a little bit bigger. And the suffix, we're going to just say SF, or do you put SQFT? How do you do it?
that's fine.
Okay. And I think we need to put a space in front of the S. I'm not sure, we'll see. And that's good, that's good. And we're going to the nearest square foot
Right.
and we'll say, okay. And same thing for acres. We will say standard for the style, same height. And then the suffix, oops. And we'll put a plus or minus.
No, let's not put the plus or minus.
Oh, okay. And we say, okay, now we've set the style. Now we go back and do that. And we'll have to erase the first one, I think, but let's try it and see if it erases it for you. I'm not moving my mouse. I think sometimes
I believe you.
it's just where it sits. I think it's trying to do it. So now you're going to do area by closed polyline again. And just hit enter. And click that and it'll show you the report up front. We exit that if we're happy with it. There you go.
Now I can move that around if I want to, right?
Yep, absolutely right.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Okey doke.
Okay,
Well,
great. We actually pretty much finished. I can polish this up tomorrow sometime.
okay,
Then Thursday we'll have a different project to work on.
there you go. Yeah, now you got, make sure you do all your joiners and all that crap. So you know
Right, right.
you've done enough plats in your time. So and then double check if you need those points to be on top so they hide the corners. Double check your legend.
Yeah.
Things like that. Now, one thing I noticed, let's go back up here to this one corner. So that point is, oops, that point is showing in the circle. That one's not. So I don't know. That point. Yet that one doesn't. Are there 2 points there maybe? No. What is that? Yeah, there's an extra, no, it's just a single point.
Where did that 519.135 come from?
That's the elevation of that point.
Let's just take that off. Oh, now it's saying 0.
All right, so that is,
That's the point default thing, isn't it?
yeah, that was one that was computed with the elevations on, so we can just freeze that layer. Okay. Now, I don't know why.
I know it's an optical illusion, but that bearing just does not look like it's parallel to that line.
Yeah, it's because they are not, it's not lined up with the 6125. So if I set this exactly on the line and set this exactly on the line, and then move them as a unit, there you go. Yeah, I think if you were to get down there and measure those distances, of course, see these little things here are higher up
Right.
and all of that. But if you look at like the N and the W
Yeah.
and that 6 and
It's
the
just an
5.
illusion.
Yep. All right, so now let's see, what I was going to look at was, let's see here. No, settings. Man, I don't know why. .209, its own boundary. I'm just going to redraw that. All right, erase and redraw. layer boundary. Got that little dot.
My question would be, why do the others not have a little dot?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. See that?
Well, I mean, it's probably not worth worrying about. Nobody's going to notice it except us,
True enough.
maybe the architect, but I doubt it.
So that block reference is on boundary. That's on boundary. So see, when I select that one, and then if I select that one, it goes away. And then this one. Ah. No, maybe not. But maybe. Well, I fixed that one, but I don't know why these other ones don't show it. Oh, well. Now this one is. It looks bigger than this one. This is what, 204, 207. So if we draw locate, same thing there. Yeah, see, that was what it was. Two 14. 204, 5. $324. That one's already done too. All right, so that one's already done. So 20, this is 214. Four and 205. Okay, now we select And we take all their points and make their visibility no. There we go. Now, does that keep us from editing the point later? Nope, it brings it right up. Everything's good. Okey doke. Save. All righty.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You bet. I will leave the rest to you. No, you're in the viewport, so remember that part. And then, oh, let's see. Wait a minute. Where's there? Go back. Oh, yeah, we do need to change that.
Let's put the foot mark there. Does it do it automatically?
No, you got to, yeah. So that was just 30. You need to change all of them. You can do them all in one shot. Just double click it. So click on 100 and change that to 30. And then click on the 200 and change that to 60. There you go. All right, now, and then hit enter to finish. All right, now, I wanted to see your location map. There we go. You have to do a regen from time to time, that because it's a image file,
Right.
it turns it off to save memory and all that. So you just regen it, it comes back on. All right.
Okay.
Well, that will take care of that. I will send you links to the video. And then I guess Thursday we'll pick back up at 1.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. My pleasure. We'll see you in a couple of days.
Okay. Have a good evening.
You as well, my friend.